Hey guys, it's Martin Van Breems from the Fairfield fencing team. Just finished my first day of senior year, and I wanted to make a video talking about sort of what fencing is, and as I introduce more people to it, sort of give them a guide of just what it means to me. And so I want to break it down into sort of like there's a group aspect of the sport and there's an individual aspect. So we'll start with the individual. And what it is individually is people refer to it as physical chess. And in this physical chess, right, the way in which you move is the way you play the game of chess. And the goal is to get a touch, which is a point, basically. And so you want to be faster, obviously. You want to do things sort of faster, but you also want to do it correctly. So that way it's harder for your opponent to block, or it's harder for them to do this or that. The way in which you move sort of is what you're learning to do, and that's how you play the game. The game is about how you move and how you try and trick your opponent and set traps, very much so like chess, except for physically, right? It's a very mental sport, but when you play it with your own body, right? Not instead of pieces on a board. So you're fighting for these touches, right? And when you get your touch, right, you get 1 point, and it's the first to 5 points is how a bout goes. So the first person to get 5 touches wins the bout. And you're fighting to get those for your team in high school fencing. You're fighting to get a bout for your team. You're trying to win a bout. And so you're in a 3-person squad, right? So there's 3 of you, and you fence the other person on the other team. So you each fence the other 3 on the other team. So that's a total of 9 bouts. If you do the math for that. There's 9 bouts, and it's the first team to get 5 bouts, right? And so when you're fencing, it's not purely individual, it's not purely a group sport, because individually you're trying to fight this one other person to get these touches to win a bout. When you're on the strip, when you're actually fencing, it is entirely you. You dictate what happens, you determine who wins. It purely comes down to your skill and your ability to do this sport, to fence. It's not affected by your teammates in any real way. But at the same time, it's a team sport in that you have to work together as a unit to try and win it all. And so you do that by the way that you train, the way your relationship is strong, and how you cheer for each other. So it's sort of like, that's the team aspect. And so the way that you work as a team is that you're working not necessarily right there as it's happening, but you're learning your teammates how they fence, and you fence them. And so you challenge them and you say, hey, this is how you're moving, but I'm going to try and do this, and I'm going to try and question, like, hey, I don't believe that your attack is actually that strong, and I'm going to fight it. And they're going to have to raise their standards. So you're constantly fencing against your teammates in practice to try and raise and elevate your skill level. And every time that you see something, a flaw in their fencing, you'll point it out, and then they'll grow to fix it, and then they see something wrong with yours, and you work with the upperclassmen and the coaches, and you're trying to develop a higher skill set and a better understanding of the sport. And as you work as a team, you develop your strength as a team. You're only as strong as your weakest link, is like the cliche, but it is true. That's what dictates who wins and who does well in the team of fencing. So what happens is that you have, as a team, most of our practices are us just practicing as a team. So it's a lot of group exercises. We do a lot of workouts. Strength and speed is very important, and endurance is very important to fencing. It's just, if you can't keep up with the other person, they will beat you. That's kind of how it goes. And then skill-wise, it's then practicing and developing, really in the beginning, learning how to move, just the basics of movement and understanding how the sport kind of goes. And so you're constantly pushing each other to do better, and it's very passionate because you have to work together to try and rise and get better. And you're also trying to self-improve constantly. It's constant self-improvement, and it's constant working together. And it's as passionate as you bring it to the table. Like, your passion for the sport and how willing you are to try and fight to get better and to help your teammates and how loudly you cheer for them, that's what makes the sport beautiful, and what makes it great is how willing you are to challenge yourself and to bring the level of your teammates higher and challenge them. That's sort of what it means to me in the high school regard, is like, it's about you, and it's about developing your skills And it's also about being there for your teammates and helping them to grow. And it's just a really positive, lovely sport. Anyway, so now I think I'm going to hand it off to some other people, and they can talk about what sort of fencing means to them. Anyway, thank you. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Anna Fedorik, and I am a varsity saberist on the Fairfield High School fencing team. Fencing is so unique in that it is so demanding both physically and mentally, and that's what makes it so special to me. Our team is truly a family, and we push each other beyond what we even think we can do, allowing us to improve every day of practice and every time we compete. I've made so many incredible bonds over the years while doing something that I love. And there's really nothing else like fencing and nothing that could replace what fencing has given me.
To me, fencing is a lot more than just a sport. It's a community that I've come to thrive in, and I really encourage people to join and embrace it.
My name is Peter Friedrichs. I'm a saberist on the Fairfield fencing team. To me, fencing in high school is an amazing experience. It's something that I would advise everyone to have. The people you meet on the team, they could be past friends, peers, or people that you haven't even met yet, but they're bound to be people that you'll never forget. The way we practice and the way we work creates such a family experience with the people that you're with. It's almost something that you'll never get again, because you're with them every day, through trial and error, through workouts and success and failure. But it's all amazing because you always have them with you. And no matter what you do, they'll have your back. It's a wonderful experience.
I really like fencing because it combines intellectuality and athletics all into one. Like, you go on the strip and basically trying to outsmart your opponent, and at the same time you're also trying to outwork them. Fencing is also a sport, at least in the Fairfield High School team, where you get to all be in a group and root for each other and really show your support.